What did someone do that you were not expecting that made you go from zero to horny in an instant? So this happened many years ago. My girlfriend and I were going to dinner with a group of friends. One guy rode with us to the restaurant. I don't remember why, but something happened and I was in a bad mood on the way home. I was driving. My GF was in the passenger seat and our friend was in the back. I wasn't paying attention to my friend or GF, just driving. Suddenly my GF puts her finger in my mouth. At first I was like, what the hell, but then I tasted it. She had fingered herself and stuck her wet finger in my mouth. Wow. I went from bad mood to instant horniness. Needless to say, I stepped on the gas, got rid of our friend, and then my GF, and I went at it. It was totally unexpected, and still something that gets me going when I think about it. The forwardness of my now wife when we got together. We got together at a party. I wasn't in a particularly great place at the time, but went out for some fresh air. We were talking. She lit a cigarette and said, "Are we going to your room or what?" Apparently I liked that she knew what she wanted. 20 years later, she doesn't smoke, but now she can never decide where we are going to eat. We never can. Also, I did something similar to my now husband, but we were at work. When I first started dating my boyfriend, we were cuddling on his bed and I was starting to fall asleep. He started whispering French into my ear. His French, so it's not like that came as a shock to me, but it woke me up real quick. I don't yet speak French, so for all I know, he was saying his grocery list and I was like drooling over it. Reminds me of the old Tumblr post where the girl loved her BF talking dirty to her in Bulgarian or something during sex until one time she caught the word tomato and he admitted he was giving instructions on how to make a salad. That is absolutely amazing. I had gotten new earrings, and so I was showing them off at school to my friend. He then puts both of his hands around my neck to have a closer look. And that was the moment I found out I was super attracted to this guy. Him very sensitive around my neck, and for him to put his hands there just instantly turned me on. I have had several guys who are just my friends jokingly put their hands around my neck and it immediately gets my heart racing. During winter season, GF was in college in another town. She was coming home for the weekend. I went to pick her up at the ferry terminal. She had a short overcoat on, her legs and knees showing. We hugged, kissed, got to the car. She said she is warm in the car and proceeded to take her coat off. She had nothing under her coat. It's not the first time I picked her up. It's not the first time she had that overcoat on. I can imagine that. Sad part is, I drive stick, so I didn't get to play a lot on the drive home. Longest drive ever. That sounds as bad as trying to drive while smoking a cigarette and drinking coffee. I usually pride myself as a purist when it comes to driving. It was definitely one of my weakest moments and the thought of owning an automatic crossed my mind. At a friend's birthday party in the loft event area of a bar. It was so ducking hot up there. Like so hot you feel your clothes sticking to your back. And the bar was packed. Without speaking, my boyfriend grabbed my chin in his hand and kissed me, pushing a cold ice cube from his drink into my mouth. Haven't experienced anything as intense as that moment since. Elaborate on that. Imagine an ice cold shock waking up every nerve in your body. Nipples erect, hair on end, buzz gone. I was ready to leave after that. I'm picturing myself choking on the ice cube and my BF having to give me the Heimlich, and people are saying romance is dead. An unexpected yes sir. Being called sir is a huge turn on. And in my BDSM life, is usually a sign that the person who says it is feeling submissive towards me. I'm now getting to the age where younger lawyers sometimes call me sir in a professional context, and when the lawyer in question is a hot 20-something woman, it can be a bit distracting. Well, now I can never say that to a male superior at work, ever again. Unless you think he's hot. A guy I was not especially attracted to, not an unattractive guy, just didn't really do it for me, gave me a hug once, and I felt his beard on my neck and that's when I found out that beards on my neck turn my legs to jelly. I literally had to go to the toilet to calm down. Got him. Men with beards. Fan self. Okay word, there was this one dude I worked with who I didn't really think of in that way until he hugged my one day and I could feel his arms and he was unexpectedly jacked, and from that moment on I was dumb as duck every time I was around him. LMAO. Him and honey mustard. Apparently. Maybe he was honey mustard. I asked a male friend to massage my back since I was in pain that day. It went well until his hands were on my nape. I jerked and stood up, telling him abruptly that I already feel fine and I had an errand to do that I forgot. That day I realized how sensitive my nape is. Also, those hands were damn good. Can I ask how you so casually asked for a massage like that? I would feel so awkward. Unless you are really close with this dude. You are really close with this dude. I am close friends with him. Also, he's very touchy-feely, so I think he doesn't mind people asking massages from him. My chiropractor, who I already had a crush on, had me on my back and twisted my hip over so my leg was laying across me and he leaned completely onto my leg and was almost on top of me to crack my spine. Like his whole upper body and hips were pressed into me and his neck was right in my face. That and he did something weird to a muscle deep in my hip. So his fingers were dug into my pelvis/hip, working the muscle as I moved my leg in certain positions to stretch it. Hard to describe both of those situations and positions I was in. But boy did I want to be in naughtier positions with him right then, lol. Same, my chiropractor is only like 10 years older than me, and when he does that I can't relax, so he has to keep reminding me to. Doesn't help, hairs so goddamn strong and muscular. Sounds exactly like my guy, lol. He's about 10 years older than me too, and super ripped, and has such pretty eyes. At one point, when he was doing the hip thing, my legs started shaking, and he started laughing and was like, why are your legs shaking? And I played stupid like wow, weird, I have no idea. Like, you're touching me in a fairly intimate way and you're gorgeous and my mind is wandering, lol. My friend and I were video chatting today. We were just talking about random stuff when all of a sudden he stopped and said, by the way, you look so gorgeous. Not only was I incredibly flattered, but the way he said it was so sexy and got me instantly wet. Tell him, close bracket. A coworker and I were doing something at work that required a squirt bottle, and I went to squirt some water out but accidentally got it all over the table. He then told me that I was messy, and he liked that. IDKY, but it really did something for me. This is a good one. I would melt. Some time ago, when I left work I went straight to my ex-GF house. I was dying tired, had a huge 12H shift, just wanted to chill and watch some TV having a beer. When I was on couch on a dad's position watching the news drinking beer, she appears on the corner eating an apple. Weirdest boner of all time. From this day now on, I know that women making that crack sound while eating apples turn me on. Weird boner, but okay. Had a huge 12H shift. I definitely read that has had a 12-inch shaft, lol. Whereas I read that as a 12-hour shit. In my coffeeless state. To kinds of people, I guess. Edit. Typo. A 12 shot in my sleep deprived state. 4 types of people, I guess. One time when I was hanging out with my ex-boyfriend I got up and told him I was going to go to the bathroom and he jokingly replied, no you're not, and that's when I found out I have a control kink. Very vulnerable and open communication. One time me and my boyfriend had a whole ass argument and I was laying in bed sulking and he was too. At his computer. I forget how, but we both ended up face to face and just had a very honest and open communication about what went wrong where and how we were both to blame for it. Don't know why, but it was a turn on, lol. This is low-key the best and realest answer here. Thanks, lol. I was just cuddling someone and that's it. I really was not expecting to feel so excited from just being little spoon. I had an ex who would just had a way of touching me. She got her hands under my shirt and just ran her hands from my stomach to my chest, which made me quiver. Never experienced this kind of touch since then. Drives me nuts just thinking about it. Sadly she was a manipulative woman. I had an ex who could just had a way of touching me. She was that good. Huh. I was drunk when I wrote that. 1. My friend and I were walking through a crowd in a club, and I was leading. He's significantly taller than me, so, to not lose me, he put his hand on the back of my neck and kinda held my neck while we were walking. That for some reason got me too. Another friend and I went shopping for suits for him. He put on a navy blue blazer and turned around to ask how he looked. If I remember correctly, my mind went blank and I just stared at him for a bit. Hey. Ha. He. Had a girl call me sir. I was like, holy shit, you like that. Girl called me daddy was weird. Spanish girl called me papi hot. Not sure why there's a difference, but their ducking is. Are you a native Spanish speaker? If you're not, that might be the difference. Where daddy has an association with an actual father from your childhood, but papi is more of a concept, even though you know what it means. Native Spanish speaker here. Call me papi, and I'll feel pressured to make sure your homework's done, and you're in bed on time. I think we're definitely onto something with the native language uncovering and pleasant familial correlations. A white girl called me daddy, and I had a vision of Clark Griswold responding yay sport. Cuban girl called me papi and I about had a stroke. Walked into her place. She was sitting under a single light. Naked but lightly wrapped in a blanket. Eating a vanilla ice cream that had dripped down her chest, and she was slightly intoxicated. That is a mood right there. Sounds like the start of a gritty poem. Lol. Yes, a noir poem. My S/O shook a bottle of whipped cream and sprayed it in her mouth. You can guess where my mind went. Your mind went to a place of shock and concern because you didn't know she was hooked on whippets. Little premise. In the sub. So I was walking around at a Renaissance fair and there was a beeswax lotion stand that I walked by and a gorgeous woman stepped in my path and told me, stop now. Put this on your hands. Put it on your cuticles. Put it on your nipples for all I care. But you will get this. By God, if my boyfriend and I didn't go directly into the shop with my panties soaking wet. Kinky girl at a Ren fair. How to thunk it? Frankly, ridiculous. I went to a party with my girlfriend, who was wearing a very tight little black dress and high heels. She looked amazing. A couple of hours and I was talking to a group of guys and I hadn't seen her in a while. She walks over to me and whispers in my ear, you know, that I can't wear underwear with this dress, and gives me the hottest duck me now look that I've ever received. As she walked away she looked back and gave me the follow me finger wave. Needless to say, I followed her to the nearest available room and aggressively removed that dress, but not the heels. You can imagine what happened next. You fixed the cable? At least something got screwed. A guy I had been casually sleeping with for a couple of months and I went on a date to this Nepalese restaurant. But before we ventured out for dinner we fooled around on my bed. He commented on how he loves the way I taste and smell. Fast forward to dinner. We've finished up. Just sitting there, drinking the last of the wine, and talking about whatever, and he raises the hand he fingered me with just hours before. Puts 2 fingers into his mouth and says, see, still delicious. Do you want to get out of here? Yes. Yes, I want to get out of here. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.